When we see the word describe, there are many things that come to our mind. You probably go back to the classroom, a teacher tell you, state your point and describe your point, state your point, describe your point. Or perhaps, you're trying to tell a friend about something that you have bought recently and you are so excited about it. Your friend will probably tell you, hey, describe to me. So what exactly is description? What are we talking about when we say describe? So when we say describe, we are looking at giving more information about the point that you are making. This information will help to strengthen and validate that point. And of course, it must be relevant to the point as well. Now, in this case with these three things here, it actually works very well when you are describing sources after making inferences. So after making an inference, you do a description of the source. These are things that you actually can apply when you are looking at sources, whether it is textual sources or whether it is a pictorial source. Now, when we are looking at structured questions or maybe essay questions, this is information from the textbook, which means that actually we can add one more dimension to the description, and that is the idea that we need an example, a specific example. Now in this video, I'm going to show you two examples of how we describe using sources, and one example of how perhaps a description from a piece of information, either from a textbook or maybe, for example, you have taken information off the internet. Okay? So in this case here, the first example, in source A, now say the point we are making is that fried chicken is delicious. This is the inference that we are making here. Now if we look at source A, we want to find relevant information that can give us more about this idea that fried chicken is delicious. So if we see that golden crispy skin is just begging to be bitten into, followed by super juicy chicken. This basically shows us that it gives more information about fried chicken being delicious. It strengthens and validates that point, and it also is relevant to the point that is being made. So this is one example and one way that we actually can describe. The second example is a pictorial source or an image. Now, basically, when we're looking at image, when we say describe, literally do what you are saying. Describe, tell me what is in the picture. So what you see is golden brown skin. Okay? You can say that it's fried to the best kind of skin. The kind of brown, okay, maybe for example, the fried to the best kind of brown. Okay, so if you think about it, it actually does give you information on fried chicken looking beautiful. It does validate and strengthen the point that fried chicken looks beautiful. So this is what I mean by a description. Just tell me what you see in the picture. Now in this case here, the third example, this is where we are seeing information that comes from the textbook or maybe a piece of information that you found online. So if you see the first two paragraphs, it tells you about fried chicken. It gives you general information of fried chicken. Now, if my point that I'm going to make is that fried chicken is delicious, so going back to the same point that we actually made at the start, okay, that fried chicken is delicious, we realize that the first two paragraphs actually are not very relevant. However, when we look at the third paragraph, that is where that deliciousness part comes in. The idea of it appealing, it satisfies taste profiles, it is a blend of savory spices, initial bursts of flavor, and a delightful textural contrast, okay, to the meat within. This here is a very good description. It gives information about fried chicken being delicious. It actually strengthens and validates the point that fried chicken is delicious, and it's relevant to the point that fried chicken is delicious. Now, like I mentioned, if we are taking information to write for essays or structured questions, we need to provide evidences or examples as well. So in this case here, we look at the example of Singaporeans. How do Singaporeans actually make sure that, or they show that fried chicken is delicious? They crave for the familiar crispy crunch, savory, juicy chicken bits, delicious prawn paste chicken, the aroma sweet and spicy kick where they enjoy it with their friends. So the idea of enjoyment coming from all these different descriptions actually shows us that fried chicken is delicious. Okay, so again, it gives me more information. It strengthens and validates my point. It is relevant, and there's a relevant example there. So again, in a nutshell, just to sum up very quickly, description, these are the 4 things you need to take note of when you describe next time. Till then, and I'm going to have my fried chicken now. See ya.